The day my mother told me I was engaged to the Crown Prince, I laughed so hard I knocked over an entire jar of cadmium red. It splattered across my half-finished canvas, across the floor, across my mother's good gray dress. And she did not even flinch. That was when I stopped laughing. She sat me down at our kitchen table, the one with the wobbly leg we never got around to fixing, and she slid a document across to me. Old paper. Heavy wax seal. The kind of seal that means someone with power put it there and expected it to stay. I read it 3 times. Then I looked up at her. And I said, "Mama. What did you do?" She told me everything. Or most of everything. I know now she held pieces back, but in that moment, what she gave me was already enough to undo me. 17 years ago, when my father was still alive, when we still had the Ashvale family name attached to something other than a cramped flat above an art supply shop, he had made an agreement. A betrothal contract. His daughter, me, his 1-year-old daughter who was busy drooling on herself, promised to the second son of the Varithos royal house. Except the second son became the crown prince. And my father died. And my mother had spent 17 years hoping, praying, that somehow the palace would forget we existed. They did not forget. The royal courier had come that morning while I was at my studio class. My professor had actually praised my landscape study that day. I remember thinking it was going to be a good week. I remember that specific, stupid thought. I looked at my mother across that wobbly table and I asked her the only question that mattered: can we refuse? The silence she gave me was its own kind of answer. We had 3 days before a royal escort would arrive to bring me to the Varithos palace for the formal introduction. 3 days. I had 3 days to pack up my entire life, say goodbye to my studio, my friends, my half-finished paintings, the only version of myself I had ever actually chosen. I spent the first day furious. I paced the flat until the downstairs neighbor knocked on the ceiling with a broom handle. I argued with my mother even though I knew she was as trapped as I was. I pulled out the betrothal document and read it again, looking for loopholes the way you look for an exit in a room that has no windows. I spent the second day painting. I painted until my hands cramped and my eyes burned, and the canvas was so layered with color it was practically 3-dimensional. I do not know what I painted. Something wild. Something that felt like screaming without making a sound. The third day. The third day I got up before sunrise, washed the paint off my hands as best I could, and I packed a bag. I packed my sketchbook. I packed my favorite brushes. I packed the small portrait I had done of my mother 3 summers ago that she always pretended to be embarrassed by but kept on the wall above the fireplace. And when the royal carriage arrived at our door, black lacquered wood, silver crests, 2 footmen who looked like they had never smiled in their professional lives, I walked out of our flat with my chin up. My mother held my hand on the front step. She squeezed it once, hard, and whispered, "Your father would have been so sorry for this." Not proud. Sorry. I thought about that the entire ride to the palace. The carriage moved through the city and I watched my neighborhood shrink through the window. The art school. The corner cafe where I ate breakfast 3 times a week. The street market where I bought cheap pigments on Saturdays. All of it getting smaller and smaller until it was gone. And then the palace gates opened. I had seen the Varithos palace from a distance my whole life, the way everyone in the city had. You look at it the way you look at a mountain. It is simply there. It is simply enormous. It does not concern itself with you. But those gates opened, and the carriage rolled through, and suddenly it concerned itself very much with me. I was shown to a set of rooms that were bigger than our entire flat. A lady's maid appeared out of nowhere and started talking about schedules and dress fittings and court protocols, and I stood in the center of that enormous, beautiful, suffocating room. And I thought, I have to find a way out of this. And then someone knocked on the door. And when it opened, I saw him for the first time. Crown Prince Kalan Varithos. Standing in my doorway like he owned everything in every direction, which, technically, he did, looking at me with those gray eyes that gave absolutely nothing away. He looked at my hands. At the cadmium red I had never quite scrubbed out from under my thumbnail. And he said, "You are not what I expected." I looked right back at him and said, "Neither are you." I expected someone older. And shorter. For exactly 1 second, something moved across his face. And then it was gone, locked behind that perfect royal composure. But I saw it. I saw it, and I filed it away like a detail in a painting you are not sure matters yet. I had no idea how much it was going to matter. I saw it. I saw it, and I filed it away like a detail in a painting you are not sure matters yet. I had no idea how much it was going to matter. Stay tuned for the next part.